the hope of the universe. I am the answer to all living things that cry out for peace.
Well, hello Dragon Ball Absalon fans, it's Samkan here. I am back, as you guys can see by the title of this video, and I know it's been a while, but the fact is that there's hardly been anything coming out in pertains to Dragon Ball Absalon. This is why I haven't been covering any content when it comes to DBA, but today I'm taking the time to talk about the return of Bardock, potentially in episode 6 part 2 of Dragon Ball Absalon. The father of Goku has indeed been teased for Dragon Ball Absalon. There's even an actual picture created by Melavelli that is hinting on the fact that we will see a Super Saiyan Bardock, and that could only be the beginning. We could even see a Super Saiyan 3 Bardock if he wants to go all the way. We could even see a Super Saiyan 5 Bardock if, Melavelli is indeed planning to do such thing. Now, when is the perfect timing to introduce Bardock? That is a very good question. I believe that episode 6 part 2 is a very fitting episode to bring this guy into the actual show, if you ask my personal opinion, because, Goten and Trunks are in a predicament, and the most predictable scenario would be to see Goku and Vegeta. But what if Bardock were to return and basically try and handle this new individual that has given Goten and Trunks such a hard time, I guess you can say. Now, episode 6 part 1, of course, they concluded it in a high note, and I cannot wait to see the continuation of it. It is a follow-up, and it's going to follow the success of episode 6 part 1. The second part of episode 6. Episode 6 part 1 was a really successful episode yet again. Melavelli definitely outdone himself with episode 6 part 1. Now, I do know that it might take a little bit longer for Melavelli to produce episode 6 part 2, because from his saying, he wanted to do some alternative stuff. Like, I know he wanted to collaborate with, Master Media, and he also wanted to do some different projects. But don't get me wrong and don't get it twisted, guys. Episode 6 part 2 of Dragon Ball Absalon will be released eventually. We don't know when. There's no definitive release date, so you can save the trouble of asking me when it will be released. As soon as I know more about a definitive release date, I'll be sure to notify you guys. But the fact is that while we're waiting to see episode 6 part 2 and a potential return of Bardock in that episode, we do know for a fact that Pan is possibly going to be fighting in episode 6 part 2. I'm saving that for a separate video because, there's a post that Melavelli was released in his Instagram page that is teasing Pan's and the fact that she will be fighting in episode 6 part 2, but that is for a separate video. Like I said, let's focus on the return of Bardock. Like I said, guys, there is a picture that's been on, I believe, Melavelli's DeviantArt page for quite some time, teasing the actual, return of Bardock in Dragon Ball Absalon. So it is a very much anticipated, I guess, showdown if Bardock comes into play, because just Bardock is a character that we haven't really seen a whole bunch of. We've only seen him in the special, the father of Goku, Bardock, the father of Goku, and he also has his own little movie that was released in 2011 or 10, I don't exactly recall. It's the movie that he ascended into a Super Saiyan. There's even a fan-made dub of that movie. So, I don't know, guys. I'm really excited if Bardock gets to come back in Dragon Ball Absalon and joins the action. I am a big fan of Bardock, even though we haven't really gotten to know the character that much. Melavelli could portray Bardock pretty well in Dragon Ball Absalon and do him justice if he decides to bring him in. And I know that eventually he's going to do that, because if he is in the teaser pictures and the promotional material, he is bound to come in eventually. We just don't know when. Could it be episode 6 part 2? Yes, there is a good chance that this might happen in episode 6 part 2. What are the odds of him returning in that specific part? I don't know. I believe he has a very good chance of seeing him down the line. Is it going to be specifically that part? I don't know, but what I do know is that at some given point we are going to see the father of Goku being involved in the action, and I cannot wait to see what sort of powers is Melavelli going to grant Bardock. Is it going to give him the Super Saiyan God power? He could even make him kind of like the original Super Saiyan God if Melavelli wanted to do such thing. So, I don't know, this is just an idea up of my head. I have no clue what is Melavelli planning to do with Bardock, but I'm telling you this, guys, I'm very excited for a Bardock return. So, like I said, we do not have a definitive release date when it comes to Episode 6 Part 2. Another very much anticipated showdown that I'm waiting to see for years from Absalon is that opening theme where they're teasing a Super Saiyan 5 Vegeta fighting Absalon. I believe I have talked about this in the past, and aside from Bardock, this is a fusion that is going to be so groundbreaking to witness in actual animation. We've seen a lot of fan-made pictures of Super Saiyan 5s, and especially the fusions, but seeing them in actual movement is going to be priceless, and I know that Melavelli is more than capable of portraying the fusion justice and basically producing an epic fight for us. So I'm really excited for that. So definitely I'm actually very curious as to see how are they going to take out this new, captain of a sort that appears to be very powerful. Tyron Magnus is the guy that, a very notorious reactor, is the guy that is doing the voice for this captain. I don't recall his name right now. If you guys do remember that character's name, let me know in the comments section down below. And basically, I'm really curious as to see the evolution of the story. What is it going to be? How are they going to eventually defeat the Saiyans? I do know for a fact, and those are some minor spoilers as to how the story is going to move along. I do know that eventually the fight is going to take place in the Absalon world. And, basically that is where Gohan is going to unleash his mystic form, his second level of his mystic power. And, it's going to be chaotic. We will see the incomplete stage on Earth. And once they go to Absalon, we are bound to see the actual second level, which is Gohan with white hair. And it's going to be badass seeing Gohan in that mode. I do not know who is planning to fight in that level. We don't even know the kind of power that Gohan possesses in his Mystic Gohan second level, guys. For all we know, he could be somewhere, along the lines of the power of a Super Saiyan 5. He would even be more powerful than a Super Saiyan 5. Goku is supposed to reach even Super Saiyan 6, which is nuts if you ask me. But, I believe that's as far as Melavelli should take it with the Super Saiyan transformations in Absalon. Super Saiyan 6, you should, I guess, envision it to be the pinnacle of power. I would not want to see something beyond that, if I'm honest. It would be like, basically kind of extending it way too much in my opinion. But that is just my own personal opinion. But let me guys know, how do you feel about a potential Bardock return in Episode 6 Part 2? Are you excited if Bardock indeed steps in Dragon Ball Absalon in Episode 6 Part 2? Let me know. I would love to know your opinion down in the comment section, guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know how you feel about the anticipation for Episode 6 Part 2. Are you excited for the next chapter of the story? Let me know. And we all need to remember one thing. Dragon Ball Absalon, along of course with Team Forster, that has contributed a lot at the time that Dragon Ball, I don't want to say was dying, but it was certainly not at its best. It needed something new, something fresh, and with Battle of Gods, it got that fresh new material, and it got a breath of life for the show, which was very much needed after such a long time of no original content by the creator of Dragon Ball, and that being Akira Toriyama. So we all need to say a huge thank you to Melavelli, because he was that guy back in 2012 that released that first episode of Dragon Ball Absalon, and here we are almost 5 years later and seeing Dragon Ball Absalon having 6 episodes, which is great. I mean, I don't believe there's anybody that could complain on that. The only complaint would be that it takes too long sometimes to release the episode, but you know, that is understandable. It's one person animating this whole entire thing. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you did. Hit the video up with a like, you guys. Share the video, share my channel so that more fans of Dragon Ball Absalon can get to see my channel. That would truly mean a lot to me. And if you guys are a fan, as always, do not forget to subscribe for more awesome daily content. I always bring you guys all the latest Dragon Ball Absalon updates. You will find everything here. Everything you need to know is basically here. So make sure you hit that subscribe button once you're done watching the video. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, I'm Sam Khan signing off here. Ciao. Adios. Goodbye.